Hello, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. And this is Christian Uremovic, and we are back to another episode of Christian's Poetic Connections. This is where we explore the interplay between different works of literature and uncover the hidden threads that connect them. I'm your host, and today we have a fascinating topic to delve into: the connection between W.H. Auden's thought-provoking poem, Unknown Citizen, and George Orwell's dystopian masterpiece, 1984. Please get ready for a captivating journey through these two iconic works. Okay, we are back. I know you were waiting with huge amounts of anticipation. Okay, let's go back, and to set the stage, let's start by immersing ourselves in W.H. Auden's powerful poem, The Unknown Citizen, if you forgot already. Originally published in 1939, Auden's work explores themes of identity and conformity within a bureaucratic society. With a little touch, or not a little, a lot, touch of irony and satire, the poem challenges the notion of individuality in a bleak world that values conformity above all else. Auden's poem serves as a thought-provoking commentary on the dangers of conformity and the loss of individuality in modern society. This was a fear that was strikingly present at the time for many writers, including our favorite writer, George Orwell, that we are mentioning in this podcast. And this was because there was a prevalent rise in totalitarian regimes in the 1930s. There was the bleakness of the Great Depression. There was not a lot of hope going around. So this was a sentiment that was not secluded to H.W. Auden. So before we bridge the gap between Auden's poem and George Orwell's 1984, we should go sort of, not line by line, but go through the poem together and decipher the most important aspects that best deliver the message that Auden is trying to get through to us. So here we go. Okay, we are back. Sorry for making you wait so long. Let's just start. Line by line, Auden presents a concise yet profound critique of a society that values conformity over individuality. Let's quickly dive into the poem so we can get into the relation between 1984. I know you are so excited for what could possibly be a connection between the two works. So let's quickly start off with line 1 and 2. He was found by the Bureau of Statistics to be one against whom there was no official complaint. So right from the start, Auden sets the tone by introducing a bureaucratic entity, the Bureau of Statistics, and already we see the dehumanization of the worker, dehumanized down to a single statistic or mere data in this totalitarian society. And furthermore, one against whom there is no official complaint, line 2. This line emphasizes the absence of any negative records or complaints against the citizen, indicating that the government sees him as an obedient and law-abiding member of society. But if you look at it on the other hand, this also implies that the absence of complaints is equated with the absence of individuality and the absence of freedom to even dissent. So there is no freedom here, even though no complaint is being demonstrated. Okay, back to sort of the middle of the poem, halfway there, lines 9 and 10. Yet he wasn't a scab or odd in his views, for his union reports that he paid his dues. So these lines sort of emphasize the citizen's lack of dissent or deviant behavior in this perfect, unconfrontational society. Auden presents him as neither a strikebreaker, a scab, if you will, nor someone with unconventional or controversial opinions. This reiterates the notion that his conformity extends to both his professional and even his personal life. So He is devoid of all freedoms, even in his personal self, which, not to spoil, you can see in George Orwell's 1984. For his union, reports that he paid his dues in line 10. Here, Auden introduces the aspect of the citizen's union membership, indicating his compliance with the obligations expected of him within the organized labor system. This further emphasizes his role as a cog in this societal machinery, fulfilling responsibilities without question. This callback to a citizen's union membership can be related to Auden's own experiences as a pro-Marxist ideology, pro-leftist writer that communicated directives to a wide amount of people in the 1930s English landscape. And these directives emphasized unions banding together the average man against the big corporate machines. Here we are at the end, the last two lines of the poem. Very powerful, very impactful lines that sort of summarize this entire message that Auden's trying to get through to us, to me, to my listeners. So here we go. Line 15 and line 16. Was he free? Was he happy? The question is absurd. Had anything been wrong, we should certainly have heard. With these thought-provoking questions, Auden is challenging the very foundation of a societal structure depicted in The Unknown Citizen. He questions whether the citizen in question truly experienced freedom or happiness. These questions serve as sort of a stark reminder that true freedom and happiness cannot be measured or achieved through the soul conformity that the society is stressing. In the concluding line, had anything been wrong, we should certainly have heard. Auden suggesting that any discontent or dissatisfaction experienced by this citizen, this unknown citizen, would not go unnoticed. The use of we in this last concluding line is very powerful, as it's referring to this whole societal apparatus, including the Bureau of Statistics and the state itself. It implies that the system is designed to detect and address any deviations from the norm, and this maintains the illusion of a problem-free and harmonious society. Though it's contradictory, it's ironic, it's not problem-free. The biggest problem of all is that there's no room to convey or express the problems that people are having because there's no room to. They don't have the freedom to do this. Here we are bridging the gap. I know we were all so excited to find out, how does this poem relate to George Orwell's 1984? I mean, if you've read the novel, you would probably have figured it out by now, but if you have not, here we are, finally bridging the gap. Published in 1949, Orwell's novel, 1984, depicts another totalitarian regime where conformity and surveillance are taken to their extreme. The government's control over its citizens is all-encompassing, with Big Brother, the totalitarian entity, watching their every single move, with cameras, microphones in apartments, probably even bathrooms, everywhere in this society. In 1984, Orwell's exploring, similar to W.H. Auden, themes of oppression, censorship, and erasure of individual identity. As we dive deeper into the connection between Auden's Unknown Citizen and Orwell's 1984, we can discover bigger parallels that shed light on the dangers of conformism and a fight for individuality. One striking connection between Auden's poem and Orwell's novel is the concept of a faceless, nameless citizen reduced to a mere number statistic, dehumanized, stripped of their unique qualities, reduced to a cog in the state's machinery. Basically a gear, one of many, no uniqueness, no individuality, nothing special. In the context of 1984, Winston Smith, the main character, is reduced to a number, 6079, and Smith W. Both of these societies prioritize conformity and diminish the importance of individual expression, and actively if we're considering 1984, which presents a terrifying vision of a society that actively suppresses and punishes any form of individual thought, any thought, not even action, thought. One more striking connection between these two texts is the pervasive surveillance employed by these ruling authorities. In Auden's poem, the Bureau of Statistics keeps a meticulous record of the citizen's life. They monitor every single aspect, from their income to their political opinions to how much the guy even drinks at night with his friends during his social interactions outside of government jurisdiction, or apparently not outside, inside. In both works, surveillance is a tool of control and it means to suppress dissent. The citizens of Auden's poem and Orwell's dystopian society are constantly monitored. I believe in Orwell's 1984, there's sort of an omnipresent surveillance where telescreens, basically TV screens, computer screens, monitors, and hidden microphones invade every single private space. So that is one more connection between these two great works. Now, moving on, transcending the pages of these two texts, we can go more into the real-life situations that sparked the authoring of these by these two authors. To conclude this podcast, we don't have much time left. I could talk about this all day, but to conclude this comparison, we already went through the lines of the poem. We understand the gist of what W.H. Auden is trying to convey to us, the reader, through The Unknown Citizen. So to conclude, we can reiterate that both Auden and Orwell lived during a time when totalitarianism was on the rise. They both shared a profound awareness of the potential consequences of unchecked power. Through their works, they sought to sound the alarm. They warned society of the dangers of sacrificing individual freedoms for the sake of a more financial, social comfortability, control in their lives, control in society. In Unknown Citizen in 1984, we witnessed their shared belief in the necessity of preserving individuality and resisting the oppressive forces that threaten that individuality. Whether it be Auden's poetic critique or Orwell's dystopian novel, both of these authors offer profound insights into the complexities of the human condition. If you've read Auden's works, the human condition is a pervasive theme, and the human condition within a restrictive and controlling society. That's about it. We've run out of time. We're getting taken over by some other second-rate podcast about some literary connection. I don't know why, but I guess that's what it is. Thank you for tuning in to Christian's Poetic Connections. Please don't forget to smash that subscribe button and join us for the next installment of this podcast series. Until then, keep exploring the profound impact of literature on our understanding of the world. If you read more, you'll understand more about the complex layers of society, of culture, of history, of your own country's history, of your own personal experiences, a way to convey those experiences, a way to explain those experiences, a way to interpret alternative meanings to your own personal experiences. Thank you. Please consider that, and you better be here next time. Like, why would you not? Bye.